Anyway, hello YouTube, this is Carl at BMX Guy, and we're going to change our cranks. So right now there's the Profile Racing spine drive cranks. They're chrome. We got that 130 BCD Profile Tracker Road Spider, along with the Surly, chain ring that's 46 tooth. We got the XTR pedals. The drivetrain is just, outboard bearing, 6-inch spindle, 6-inch titanium spindle nose. But we want to change over the crank. We just want to change it just to try out something else. I generally don't have a problem with profile cranks. They don't usually give me any issues. I mean, they're on every bike because of this. But I originally wanted to put SRAM Force on a fixed gear setup. And I didn't even do that. I went with like these S300s. And these S300s actually haven't been giving me any problems. I mean, they actually work pretty good. The stock bottom bracket they come with worked fine. I mean, that bike rides pretty nice. There's profile stuff on it. We got the profile fixed free hub on the back and the mini hub on the front. There's nothing else I can really get profile for it, actually. Meaning, it's all I really got. I get a 31/8 stem, but there's no nice upright offset to one. Unless someone has a BMX handlebar on this, but I just don't like the BMX handlebar with the giant frame so much. We obviously have, GT cranks from years past. And, we still got profiles that are actually new, that are stamped. That's like the last year of them being stamped right there. Got them in 2019. I was trying to buy the first set of these like laser edge guys. They just didn't have them. All they have is these. Well, there's other laser edge cranks sitting ready for projects. We even got like black ones that are off the black bike because we just changed the cranks off of that for a second. I mean, we're probably gonna put these back on it, and maybe just change the spider to the normal size one. Because, like, yeah, that bike, I kind of want that to be ready for, like, normal street riding situations. Just going to a skate park with it. But, they got the chrome frame sitting right there, right? You can put the force crank on that instead and just make that one the way it was before I got this Carver Ti frame right here. So, yeah. So, profile cranks are generally about 10 ounces for the arm. The spindle is 6 ounces if it's titanium. And then maybe the spider is like 2 ounces. We could even show that weight difference. We got projects going on, but here we have a SRAM Red crank. The SRAM Red is a flagship kind of crank for SRAM's road set stuff. It's on a power meter. It's just the arm set that I put this stone spider on. Now I got like the Profile Elite AL spider to use if I wanted to use it. But I want to see what this does first. Like, I don't know, I kind of like the look of things, like that spider and the profile stuff. But I just want to keep using the 130 chain ring versus like other things. We got both arms in this package. The spider's on there already. I'm trying to figure out a way to hold this up. Well, we got a bottom bracket. We got a Chris King bottom bracket with his shimmies. There's even a wrench extension. But we're going to put that Chris King bottom bracket on here, along with these carbon arms. So, like, what's the difference in weight? Like, let's just say I weigh those black ones since they're already kind of ready to be accessed. So, we'll get the cranks ready. We'll magically push them right into the screen. Let's get the scale. So the scale has to be on. Make sure that guy's on tear. So how much does this crank weigh? It's kind of easy. Well, we thought it was going to be easy. don't necessarily know where we're at. So we're looking at 1 pound, 11 ounces with the profile arms, black powder coat, with the 130 BCD spider and the titanium 6-inch spindle. The bolts are steel, and that's how much they are. They're 1 pound, 11, if you can see them, because the light somehow doesn't work that good. In kilograms, that's 0.76 or 760 grams. So that's how much that one weighs. I gotta get it off there. The big difference between the two is that there's a lot more shine going and twinging and twanging. I don't get that with this one. So as we try to get this on here and it like works with me. So we're looking at one arm. We're going to just do this. I'll try to get this on there before it beeps again. And we're looking at 1 pound, 1 ounce. So we go from 1 pound 11 to 1 pound 1 ounce. So that's about 10 ounces right there. That's 0.47 kilograms, but that's, what was it previously? You know, 760? Yeah, I don't really remember now. But that is the difference in weight. So 1 pound 11 versus 1 pound 1 in this case with that spider. And that's what like pedal washers is hanging off there and baggage stuff and rubber thing on the end. I'm not even talking about, you know, the actual pieces. But yeah, we're losing that much weight to like putting this on there. Meaning like that's 10 ounces right there alone. The bottom bracket is probably another difference in weight because the Chris King bottom bracket has much narrower bearings. Right? These kind of small pieces. Yeah, like small pieces everywhere. Like the whole bottom bracket alone could be 1 more ounce or 2. Which I guess I could do. It's just going to be difficult. Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, how about we don't worry about that? So, we're going to put this guy on there. The conventional BMX way where we just flip the bike over. There, the bike's flipped over. So this chain literally has 100 miles. The cog has 100 miles. The tires have maybe 200 miles. Plus riding to work last 2 days. So I think I rode the bike to work Tuesday, but not Wednesday. But I did ride it Saturday and Sunday. So let's say I just put another 50 miles on it. The 2 days after, you know, the actual ride on Saturday. So we gotta get the wrenches we need. We need a 6mm to take this guy off. 5mm to take these guys off. The actual chainring wrench. That's already easy to find. So we got that guy, that's the chainring wrench. You put it behind these guys, chainring bolts. And use that. The crank will probably require hammering to get off. Among other things, and we need an 8mm to get the pedals off. We need the wrench for this. So that should be already kind of ready. We have the Torx, but this is for the GXP crank. T25. So this is the 8, 5, 6. The Chris King bottom bracket tool. Maybe adjustable. There's other tools here. We got a hammer. I need a hammer. The actual profile tool. So we actually got a fresh one. Actually, there's an aluminum end in one, I thought. Isn't really. It's chrome. But yeah, they're all the pieces that we need. And yeah, we'll just take them off piece by piece. Okay, so the pedals are off. They were just clipless pedals. You can only take them off with the 8mm. That's kind of why I don't like these new style pedals. Next we'll loosen these guys up. Maybe just take that off first. How about that? So there, the chainring is off the crank and spider. Here's the chainring. As you see, it is a Surly. I can't get that to focus. I think that says 130 by 46. That's the stainless steel, if you can see it. Let's see it that way. Surly is probably right my fingers. Yeah. So as you see, the inside isn't really wearing, so the sprocket's still sitting too far out from the back. So the main concern is, like, I want to kind of get the chain line to be better and still use like a 130 ring, other things, but it doesn't seem like it's a possibility. Like when I first built this frame, it was always like this situation. As you see, the bearings don't really spin that good. I think it's been better. They kind of have like a noisy sound. But yeah, we're going to take that guy off. Unbolting is pretty easy. 6mm is probably loose. But we're going to do it this way because to try to keep it together. It's kind of like the black one. But yeah, I need to have like the sprocket pretty far in and not hit this frame. And yeah, I used like a bumper thing, but that didn't really do anything. So we're going to take this bolt off and hammer that crank off and other things that I don't really want to show in the video. So I'll just take the whole crank off and I'll show you after it's off. So there, got the crank off. This has a titanium spindle. It just say something on there. That was kind of hard to see that, but it's hard to focus. Gun drilled hollow, 19mm by 6. Can you read that? Wow. The thing I noticed is that these bomb bracket bearings kind of give me some problems. I think it's just because the spacer is aluminum and it starts crushing after a while. Yeah, just trying to do everything in one hand, all of a sudden it's filthy. But yeah, the silver cups look better because they don't get chewed up by a wrench. It's kind of why I bought them. I just put silver cups in everything. Even like the silver cups kind of get noticeably chewed up. Like if you use a Shimano wrench, it pieces them up rather easily. But I think these bearings actually don't feel too bad. They're spaced right because that spacer is definitely tight in there. So maybe they're just going. They gotta be taken off. So the bottom bracket came out. It didn't come out with that much effort, fortunately. Meaning it definitely used some force. This bearing alone is the one that feels like it's not good. It kind of has a little bit like a scratchiness. Non-dry bearing, that feels fine. So the one thing about these is like they kind of wear out seemingly fast. You also see like the bottom bracket itself, like the end starts squishing, so you start needing to use those shims that the bottom brackets come with. Maybe that's what I gotta do for next time it goes in. But yeah, the whole crank came out pretty easy. Now we can put in a new crank. Or, you know, the temporary new crank, because we don't know if we want to get it in there. Threads are okay. I mean, there's no noticeable damage inside there. I mean, yeah, the frame's holding up fine. So I gotta find the bottom bracket. Okay, so we found the bottom bracket. This is a King Threadfit 24. These are pieces out of the Threadfit Fit Kit number 6. You gotta come out the bags. So yeah, it takes a lot of work getting them out of the packages. You got like this little sleeve for these bearings. But this is the Threadfit 24. These are the Fit Kit hat washers that sit inside. They are fully serviceable bearings, so if they do wear out anyway, I can just send them back to King and they'll just re-grease them for me. They are very low profile cups. Do they feel lighter than these? Yeah, they are a little bit lighter in that sense. But look how much less bearing there is. Like, that's probably the main reason. The Threadfit 6 set has this is a 22 to 24 spacer. This is the hat washer for that arm to tighten against, so it kind of does this in the bearing right there. This is the compression spring. This is the fin washer. All these washers kind of equal 1.84 like they say on their website. So one is like 1 millimeter. I think that's this one. This one's like a little bit thinner, 1.2, like 0.5, and this is like 0.3. So it's about 0.185, I guess. I'm guessing with that. There's plastic. They're going to sit against the bearing while this sits against the arm. When you tighten this in, you just need to use this as an internal just seal to keep it from getting dirt inside of it. But the otherwise it's right on the same as those other guys. See some grease and figure out which one's which. This is 40 Newton meters on each of these cups. Generally 40 Newton meters is not what I call tight enough, but we'll see. Okay, so that's all greased. You gotta put the cups in, and they gotta be tightened about 40 Newton meters. And we got the King bottom bracket wrench because we don't want to mar up the cups. Let's get them in there. The bearing cups are in. No marring. They definitely have a lower profile look. Are they worth the $300? Let's see. Yeah. See, there's like lots of oil and everything. Find the crank. So with the crank, we had to put certain spacers on certain sides. Like I said, these and this go on the non-drive side. I mean the drive side, and these go on the non. This makes things interesting. But getting in there should be pretty easy. Okay, so the spacers are on there. We got the compression wave spring, whatever you call that thing. 3 fin plastic washers that should equal 1.85. If it's too tight after I tighten it, I gotta take one of the little washers out. Maybe the white one will come out, but we'll see how it feels when it's tightened up. These 2 spacers go on the other side, so basically slide in. And you see it needs that little, this washer has to go on there. Fortunately, it is stainless steel, but just make sure there's some grease on the outside edge of it, maybe the inside. Put that in there and slide it in deep, like so. This is buttoned up against the arm. This guy. Just make sure that's covered with grease too. Let's get that arm on there. Okay, so they're tightened on there. So they kind of spin funky. They don't really spin fast just now. There's no weight to anything. I try to figure out a way to make sure it has the right preload on this side because it's tightening on that side. So it still has to break in, but they're not really spinning much better in the profiles anyway at the moment. But they don't look too bad. It's definitely different. So yeah, I took out this washer because I was thinking maybe it's too tight. I might take out another washer just to see how it feels, or see how that thing slides in there, like it uses a flashlight and a little pick and try to slide the washer. It's too loose. It just has to touch. It doesn't really have to be fully compressed. Like the spring there. It's kind of hard to tell when it's compressed. But there are two spacers in there. I forget what's in that one. I think there's like a few spacers there, but that hasn't been giving me any problems at all. Or just like one spacer. But it looks like it should be fine. So we'll see how that goes. But that other bolt needs to be a certain nanometers, Newton meters. Right, it even says it on the bolt, which I can't really read. I can probably read it better on the phone. I'll try to. The outer bolt, this is 8mm bolt, is 48 to 64, or no, 48 to 54. So 54 is not that much either. So they don't really roll that good at first, the bearings, but they should smooth out with time. Let's get the pedals on and maybe the chainring and other things. So the chainring mounts on the outside. Well, does it? Can we mount on the inside? That's one of those questions that concerns me. If I can mount on the inside, it makes it even further in. But I don't know, it might not work. It might not even mount on the inside. It can mount on the inside. It won't rub. It's nowhere near the frame. I may just do that. Can't see what I'm doing, but yeah. So on the other leg, I had to mount on the outside because it wasn't enough width. So the outside it's 45 chain line to the rear. On the inside it's probably like 42, 43. So the sprocket is hanging on there. It has plenty of clearance to the frame, and if it's going to the back, it would make it so I can put the sprocket on the rear further in, and I can go back to the Surly sprocket, not really care about the chain unevenness or anything. Well, I can always just not care. Stay with the profile cog. But longevity is more important to me, so I will figure out what to do there. But it can go on the inside on this bike. It wasn't able to go inside on the standard, meaning it has to be on the outside on the standard for the Spider. And it does look a lot better on the inside, in my opinion, even without the bolts. So what's that chain line going to be? I have to measure that, but I'm going to say the outside's 45, like the outside. I think that's where that's at now, this one. So let's get the chainring bolts on there. The way it is right now, that's where it's going to be. It's going to be that direction, because I wanted it all along. So let me look at this chainring bolts on there, and we'll show it with that. So there we have the chainring bolts on. Yeah, it's pretty round. Not even doing anything. Still has plenty of clearance from the frame. The cranks themselves are pretty far away too. You can get your finger in there. Can't get your finger in there in the standard frame. What it does is it makes the whole chain alignment something interesting. So what I generally do is just use a ruler, put it against the sprocket, maybe use 2 bolts as a guide, figure out where it needs to be in the back. So where we're at, we're kind of like a little further in than the teeth. So it would need to be shimmed in just one of those thin 1.5 spacers probably, and that's probably fine. They can probably stay where it is. As far as what that chain alignment is, I don't know at the moment. And if you flip this over this way, it could actually be a different position. It could actually be further out, like kind of where the teeth are now. Meaning like it's not really needing to change back there. It's probably fine. So I'll have to play around with that too, but we got the crank on there. The funny thing about King bearings is they just sound like they're not sealed bearings. Make that scrubbing sound. That doesn't look too bad, does it? So there we got the crank. Got the pedals on. Chain. Maybe I'll adjust the chain a little bit. Adjust the brake. These are all tightened up. Yeah, we're ready to go. Get this thing. And yeah, I'm gonna flip it over and I'll even weigh it. Just gotta move things. Okay, so we got the bike flipped over. So it doesn't actually ruin the look of the bike, because everything is like black or, you know, titanium. But yeah, they look pretty good. See how they hold up. And the sprockets on the inside, chain alignment is further inward. It's still gonna hit where it's at, but we'll make the chain tighter. Originally I was going to use this spider with the force crank. It's just so ugly compared to that one. I don't know if you can see it anyway. But these are on standby. If I have any problems with the red crank, the profiles will go right back on. Yeah. But how much does the bike weigh? So we took the bike out of the way. Let me set up. We gotta hang this here for the bike so it has to be high enough. So let's look at the total weight of the bike. Even though we have like an extra little piece in there that kind of can make it a little bit different of a development. Take a look at our weight. Look at that. 15 pounds, 15 ounces. That even has that little thing on there. And whatever ounce it adds. So I'd say I'm under 16 now. And yeah, I'm under 16, but how many kilograms is that? 7.24 kilograms. I'd say that is on there for now. Go for some rides for next season. We'll see how it holds up. Do I need to be under 16 pounds? Well, we'll see. But yeah, we'll see how that does for next season, the 2026 season. Do we have to do any adjustments? No. Fine. Anyway, this is that BMX guy, and thanks for watching me upgrade the Carver Ti RM to a SRAM Red crank with a Chris King bottom bracket, no less. And a Stone 130 BCD spider. And we're still going to be using that Surly 130 chainring. Anyway, thanks for watching.